To me, the first time I ever had this, it just reminded me of going to the state fair or the county fair.
Any kind of fair.
Any kind of fair that has corn on the cob.
Yes.
That you ask for it. They dehusk it. And they drop it in a vat of butter.
Yeah.
They hand the thing to you, and there's that little can on the end of the rope
going.
with salt in it, and you just salt it up a little bit.
Salt it up.
And that first bite, to me, this just tastes like roasted corn on the cob at the fair. Buttery, just delicious.
Sweating.
Movie theater popcorn.
Yeah.
That's what it tastes like.
I should take this to the movie theater. And
I don't think I'd get anything watched if I did that. I would just sit here and drink. Welcome to Whiskey Bits,
with Matt and Phil,
where we talk all things whiskey
and all things comedy.
Good to see you again, Matt.
Good to see you again too, Phil. I'm sporting my client's shirt.
Yeah, Jamie Lissow.
Jamie Lissow. Do not mix with alcohol.
Yeah. I think we should mix with alcohol.
I can. He chooses not to.
Oh, that's good.
He's
that's
a good
smart.
guy.
That's smart.
He's one of my faves.
That's smart. Yeah, I haven't met him. I hear he's hilarious.
I really wish I would have told you.
We should have him on.
It'd be great if he would come on here.
Yeah, we should have him on.
He has this podcast, Afraid to Ask. I love it.
Afraid to Ask. That's
Afraid
what it's
to Ask. Yes. I'm like trying to think of questions that I could ask. I actually had one the other day. Oh, and we're going to talk about it today. How funny. When we get to the joke part, man.
Excellent.
These people at the gym. Oh my gosh. What are we drinking today?
I think it's time for us to reach for one of our favorites.
Love it.
I think it's probably both of our favorites, or one of both of our favorites. This is the Mellow Corn Bottled in Bond. And by the label, you wouldn't think that this was any good.
It looks very... I don't even know. It's not that it necessarily looks 60s or 50s. It just looks, in my opinion, so I do graphic design for the day job right now until I can, make some more money being a professional comedian. But the design isn't overly impressive.
Right.
It looks a little bit amateur.
Right.
But it's so good.
It's simple. It's... By appearances and by price and location on the shelves, you'd think this is just...
it's a bottom shelfer.
It's a bottom shelfer. Yep. It's... and these things come in at between $18 and $21 typically for a bottle. Mm-hmm. But it's bottled in bond, which we've talked about at length together. But again, that's... under U.S. government supervision is how this stuff is aged, stored for 4 years in oak barrels made by a single distiller. You have to list that distillery, and their number on the bottle.
Who does this one?
This is Heaven Hill.
Oh, get out.
Yeah.
Because I feel I've seen so many of their bottles recently.
Yeah.
And isn't there one that was like, it's kind of a big deal lately?
Heaven Hill?
Yeah. I feel like there's one that I've seen a lot with like some buddies that like you, I don't know, maybe you had one. I don't know. But I've seen Heaven Hill in a lot of places. Is it good?
Yeah, it's one of the top distilleries in Kentucky. Yep.
Okay.
They put out a bunch of stuff. Yeah, for sure. And so this isn't bourbon. This isn't a wheated bourbon. This isn't wheated whiskey. This isn't a rye whiskey. This is a corn whiskey. So when we talk about
that's why I love it so much.
Being 51% corn, at least 51% corn, this would definitely fall into that mix because it is mostly corn.
I wonder how much it actually is corn.
I mean, I would imagine that it's as close to 100% corn as you can.
Right. It's definitely in the 90s at least.
At least.
But it says straight corn whiskey. Mm-hmm. So that's got to mean maybe it's just corn.
Well, yeah. I mean, you can get straight bourbon whiskey, which would be, we don't know the exact corn content of those, but
right.
Yeah, that the idea here is that this is definitely a corn whiskey. And because it's bottled in bond, it has to go in at 100 proof, into the bottle at 100 proof. So
I got to tell you, though, if you're pregnant, you can't drink it. It's a down.
I'm not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's a
I know
downside.
it's hard to tell.
Oh, poor Phil. Wah, wah.
Yeah, the beard gives it away.
The beard gives it away. Oh, Kentucky's finest. 100 proof.
Mm-hmm. It's really smooth.
I mean, I feel like I knocked them on their label. It's not that bad. It's not as bad as, you know what it is? It's the big yellow color and the green and the red. Like, yeah, I would just, but I get it. It's corn, so it's yellow.
Well, yeah, and it's old timey.
It is old timey. Yeah,
It looks like a bottle that was probably designed somewhere in the, I would say 70s, early 80s. Probably designed then and put out, and
or 40s.
Yeah, and it's a screw top. It's not a cork, which a lot of people actually prefer the screw tops to the corks, but
well, it's because people lack the wrist strength to be able to pull the cork out.
Yeah, mostly that's what it is. Mostly it's that.
Oh man, my wrists are so fragile.
But
if only they had a screw top.
You gotta take care of your corks,
right?
Anyone who collects whiskey or has a lot of bottles and things like that, got to make sure that you wet that cork every once in a while. Just
I didn't know that.
Make sure it's wet.
Now I'm gonna be all like.
Yep,
and a lot of spots about it.
So I was just doing this one, and I saw this one in here, and I think that this might be So this is a synthetic cork, so it's not really that important to worry about it. But that Sazerac right there looks like it's a real cork, so you just want to make sure that those stay wet. They dry out when you go to pull the top off,
which means they probably shrink.
It'll shrink a little bit,
which means it's getting more oxygen, which is probably messing it up.
Yeah, it shrinks, it dries out. What ends up happening is it dries out, and you then it'll break off in your bottle, and then
that's not good.
You either can't get the cap off because the cork is stuck in there. You got to drop the cork in there and figure out a way to do all that. So just keep those corks wet. And it's also the reason. So there's the other thing is you don't want to store.
You heard it here, folks. Keep your corks wet. What does it even mean? Could mean anything.
What I take it to mean is that I am 100% absolutely a cork soaker.
Sounds horrible. Cork soaker.
Johnny Dangerously. You seen the movie Johnny Dangerously? Go check it
out. Michael Keaton.
That's right.
Yeah.
So with wine, you tend to store it on its side.
Why?
With bourbon, you don't want to store it on the side because that alcohol content will eat away at a cork.
Destroy it.
Yeah. So you always want to store bourbon bottles upright.
That's why they make the bottles to stand vertically.
Yes, this is true for wine bottles. So explain that one.
Why don't they make them to stand horizontally?
Because you
think, wine people. Think.
You set it on the... Anyway, it doesn't really matter.
Just saying. A lot of smarts up here.
A lot of smarts. Yeah. I'm not really sure why they store wine on the... My guess is you want to keep the sediment from forming in the bottom of a bottle of wine. You want the sediment to kind of evenly be...
I mean, to be honest with you, I don't want sediment anywhere.
But that's part of the joy of wine, and you would know that if this were a wine podcast. Let's get off of that.
Get off.
No one cares about it.
But the Mellow Corn, this is so good.
It's good.
I think the reason I like it is I can just eat sugar all day long. If it was up to me.
Yeah. Sugar every day.
I would just eat like Sour Patch Kids, Sour Patch, watermelon. Thank you, Jesus, for creating that. That, I mean, it's so good. It's the perfect blend. Let's do a Sour Patch. Let's do a candy podcast.
Okay.
But this is why I like this, because it's super sweet.
Yeah.
Like in a mixer or just even sipping. Like,
I've not put this in a mixer. Have you mixed it?
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, everything.
Old fashioned or
everything. Just throw some Coke in there. Like, take the most sugary sweet soda pop that you can think of.
Yeah.
Like, to me, Dr. Pepper, throw it in there. It's like every flavor, 523, whatever it is. What are you smelling?
I got a little. I got a little bit on as I swirled that one out. A little bit splashed on my finger, and I like to.
You're like smelling it.
It smells
a little bit of the hand soap mixed with the straight corn whiskey. And
one of these days we will.
A whiskey soap. They probably make that.
They do make that.
Why don't we have that?
I do.
Okay.
All right. One of these days we will get some White Dog, which is the stuff that, and we'll go through a proper
the mash.
Yeah, we'll go through a proper smelling and tasting of that as well.
Oh, is that any good? It's basically vodka, right?
No, it's basically whiskey before it's aged.
Huh.
So lots
but
of
isn't that what vodka is?
No.
Oh. Okay.
No. That would be vodka.
Oh.
Vodka also gets aged in barrels, but there's a clear coating that they put on there to keep it clear.
The coating inside the barrels. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Right, which you're not allowed to have with bottled and bond, which is why you get this.
Yes. It's all making sense.
Color.
Love the color.
Which is where you get the color. But to me, the first time I ever had this, it just reminded me of going to the state fair or the county fair.
Any kind of fair.
Any kind of fair that has corn on the cob.
Yes.
That you ask for it, they dehusk it, and they drop it in a vat of butter.
Yeah.
They hand the thing to you, and there's that little can on the end of the rope with salt in it, and you just salt it up a little bit.
Salt it up.
And that first bite, to me, this just tastes like roasted corn on the cob at the fair. Buttery, just delicious.
Sweating.
Movie theater popcorn.
Yeah.
That's what it tastes like.
I should take this to the movie theater, and
I don't think I'd get anything watched if I did that. I would just sit here and drink.
Think about. I'm just making use of this barrel that I have here next to me.
Mm-hmm. Pickle barrel, right?
I mean, it's not really a pickle barrel. It's just a mini barrel, baby barrel. I'm sure we opened it up. We could probably do something with it. Now that barrel. You smell the bunghole in that barrel. It smells like fresh apple pie, baby.
It sure does. Sure does.
For those of you that don't know, the bunghole is the hole in which
the whiskey comes out.
That's as far as I know.
Okay, that's it.
I don't know. Yeah. Because how do they... That's a good question. How do they put the whiskey in the barrel? Because they char the inside. How do they do that?
Mm-hmm.
They open the top.
Mm-hmm.
And how they seal the top?
They do. They seal the top afterwards.
And I know they use a wax. They use a barrel wax.
Mm-hmm.
Because when we got this, I picked it up. You can kind of see this stuff here. This is like from the... I'm pretty sure it was a stout. Sanded it down for like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
But there was definitely some barrel wax on it.
Yeah.
Which I didn't know that was even a thing. And I was like, oh, okay.
That's how they seal it to make sure it doesn't leak.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they cut that in. Mm-hmm. They cut the hole in so that they can pour it out.
Oh. Yeah.
Wouldn't it make sense to... Because then there's holes in the top.
Well, if you cut this open, if you cut the top open and take the top off, you can't keep aging it. This way, you can stick that topper back in.
Oh.
That stopper back in, pound it back in. Yep.
Why can't you just do the same thing on the top?
My guess would be a guess. My guess would be a guess.
My guess would
why
be,
couldn't you do the top?
What the heck? We've never thought of this before.
Hey, I've got an idea. If any of you know why.
Yeah, please tell us. Why?
Drop it in the comments. Let us know.
Drop it in the comments. Why?
The bunghole has to be on the side.
Why does it have to be on the side? Why can't it be on the top? Because there is a hole in the top. That's probably where they pour it from the get-go.
Could be.
Or maybe it doesn't matter and we just don't know. We're not aficionados. We're two dudes discovering...
These are stored on their side.
Right. Oh, yeah.
You would have to tap near the very edge of the top of it in order to make sure that there's air.
Right.
That you're going into air.
Right.
Otherwise, yeah.
I mean, if it's standing here like this, it's coming out. They're not going to do it like that.
Right. No, and it's easier to move if it's on its side because you can just roll it. And all of these are stored on their side.
My dad would be like...
Don't drop it in the comments. We just figured it out.
My dad would be like, my mother-in-law is easy to move when she's on her side. Horrible. Just horrible. My dad, that's a whole topic in and of itself. We'll do that for a joke series. Yeah. The man he's a national treasure, for sure. But what is going on in that guy's head?
So wait, your dad is Nicolas Cage.
Yes. I kind of feel like maybe I look like... No, not even close.
You look like your dad?
I look like a mix
of...
I look like all the uncles on my mom's side, for sure.
All right.
The Jewish side of the family, I got all of it, including my grandpa's lack of hair, which this is going to be a thing. One of these episodes, I'm going to come on and I'm going to have a shaved head. Not like all the way shaved.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if I shave it down to like a 2 and maybe a 1 on the sides, the lack of hair in places kind of like evens itself out and it doesn't look too bad. Okay. I have a nice head shape.
Yeah.
God gave me a nice head shape because he's probably like, this guy's going to lose some hair.
He's gonna need
I know all the hairs in your head, but that's not saying a whole lot because there's like going to be 3 by the time you're 40. So,
yeah. That's true. So you have a built-in yarmulke.
I actually thought about getting a yarmulke, and that led into do they make yarmulkes with wigs? So I thought I could kill 2 birds with 1 stone, support the Jewish heritage with the yarmulke, add the hair on top of the yarmulke, so it's a wig, solves the balding problem.
I mean, I have to tell you.
I mean, it's right there.
They do make a yarmulke that is a wig.
Really?
Yeah. It's called a toupee.
Whatever, Phil. Whatever. Phil. You're the worst. I'm going to hide behind this mic.
All right. So we were going to talk about... We're going to have a joke episode about your dad.
About my dad. That's a whole subject. That could be a whole special.
We've got another one about
the
Jewish side of your family.
Jewish side of my family. The juxtaposition between like my Jewish grandma and her side of the family versus like my English grandma. That's an interesting thing. But really my family in general, I feel like there's a lot of jokes, since we're getting into the joke section of this episode, there's a lot of jokes that, or a lot of comics rather, that, you know, they're telling, what makes them unique is their story, you know. I think it was Sebastian Maniscalco. He talks a lot about his dad, and he's made a movie about his dad.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's a lot of material that I haven't even explored that is family-based stuff. I mean, I've done a lot about my kids. I used to have more jokes about like Madison, my wife. I remember one joke that was one of my first jokes I did was we were dating and like we would do shopping for shoes, and the punchline I like, you know, the setup probably needs to get better, but basically it was about like when you're dating somebody and they're kind of like demanding a little bit in relationship, you know, and they tell you what to do, but you don't care because you're dating them and you're like, I'll do whatever you say. And, you know, that kind of thing. And, so I had this bit where I was like, she's like, we're trying on shoes and it's like, you know, trying these shoes. And so I try them on and I, you know, when a guy tries on shoes, what do? You put one shoe on, you do the walk and you don't even tie the darn thing. You're good. You're like, okay, I think it fits. I'm going to get the box. She's like, Matt, put the other shoe on. I'm like, why? I don't need to put the other shoe on. She's like, to put the other shoe on. I'm like, look, it's not like I have a 12 and a 3 here. I mean, I'm pretty sure, like,
same size.
Pretty sure they're going to fit. She's like, put it now. I'm like, whoa, we're not that far in the relationship for you to be saying now. Okay. So I had that joke. That was one of my early jokes. It's okay. It was okay. So yeah, so I feel like all that to say, like my mom's side of the family, my dad's side of the family, very different, but very interesting characters. I almost think of like Everybody Loves Raymond. Like I have that kind of quality of characters in my family, where it's like, you know, the Jewish grandma, the English grandma, and like I joked, you know, Mrs. Doubtfire, Fran Drescher, you know, right. Like that, like the nanny, like that's kind of what I grew up with. But do we talk about working out or do we talk about?
I think you keep going with your family.
Here's the thing about my dad. Let's just go for it. Here's the thing about my dad. I mean, specifically.
Yeah.
Everything that everything my dad comes up with. He's the type of, he's an only child. So my mom's side, she had like 6, 7 siblings.
Okay.
Dad's side, 1. It was him, my English grandma, my grandpa, who was World War II. So my grandpa was in World War II. He owned a TV shop in Barrington. Met my grandma in Stratford-on-Avon, England. She was a war bride. You know, blah, blah, blah. Only child, dad, whatever. I don't know why I don't know the story why they only had 1 kid, but that's what happened. So he has that only child personality. You know, I don't know if that makes sense. If you're an only child, you know an only child, you know, it's not like, I'm not saying he's selfish. He's not selfish. Yeah. But sometimes that, like, I'm the only one kind of comes, like, I get the attention that comes out. But what's funny about him is, like, when it comes to, like, health stuff, like, his big thing, and this is the joke, I think, the main joke with him is he'll see a news report on the news. He'll be like, oh, man, I heard this report on the news. Beer. They say it's the best thing for you. Best thing for you. It doesn't matter what it is. Beer. It could be a medicine. It could be a vitamin. It could be a car, whatever. Best thing for you. They said tonight. Oh, best thing for you. Good. I'm going to have it, have it once a day, once a week. Oh, they say if you have a glass of wine once with a meal once a day. Oh, it's the best thing for you. The next day, another news report comes out that beer and or wine actually hurts your liver, or it's actually not so good for you. Yeah. That's it. I'm done. I'm not drinking anymore. I quit alcohol. I quit all alcohol. We're done. Nope. Won't touch it. It's bad for you. The next day, what'll happen is I'll see him after this speech of how it's the worst thing for you, and he'll be drinking a beer at like a get together. I'm like, Dad, what are you doing? You just told me yesterday you weren't going to drink this. Oh, well, you know what? They did a report. They turned out it's good for your heart.
Gotta tell you.
Good for your heart. I gotta tell you. Like, Dad. Literally. That he likes to tell me to shave every time I see him. It's the same joke over for shave your beard. Like, I'm gonna shave my head. Oh no, don't do that. Like, I don't know, man.
Why does he want you to shave?
I don't know.
Is it an old school thing? Like he wants the...
He's got a mustache. He's got the 80s stash, man. The guy rocked the 80s stash. When I was a kid, there was pictures of him. He had the long, in the 80s, 90s, he had the long hair and then the giant fluffy beard. Like, Dad.
And now he's lose a razor, kid?
Huh?
I got a razor you can borrow.
He's just always, every time he sees me, oh, you gotta shave. Huh. Good guy. Quirky. Funny. And it's funny when you see, because he's 1952 he was born, so he's the baby boomer, the young kid you see in the old Andy Griffith show, like that's him. And so you see that kid coming out, like if like our kids are getting attention, one of his lines is like, if we're like, oh, Cora, you're so cute, oh, nobody ever cute just like me, or oh, nobody ever said that about me, or oh, my parents. It's just typical. It's it's dad joke loading all day long.
Yeah. It's interesting. My mom, born in 1952 as well. She's the youngest of 6, and does the exact same thing. Nobody ever pays attention to the youngest. No one ever cares about the youngest.
He's the youngest and the oldest.
Everyone forgets about the youngest.
He's the youngest and the oldest and the middle.
That's right. What's interesting...
Is your mom an only child?
No.
Oh, you just said that.
I did just say that.
Yeah, but I had the Mellow Corn.
Right. No, you were checking my levels.
I was checking your levels.
Just to make sure I'm
not your vitals.
No, my levels.
Checking your levels. Making sure people can hear you.
Nope, she's the youngest of 6. Has that same attitude. Like, nobody ever pays attention to me. I'm the youngest. No one ever pays attention. No one loves me. I'm the youngest. Everybody forgets about me. You know what's crazy is, would you believe that an only child? He's sitting across the room from
you. Are?
Yes. So that's I could be offended if I felt like you were talking about
I hope you're offended. I feel like you need to be.
Well, I'm not offended because I don't feel like that's me. Does that seem
But did you have this Did you
have any siblings? No. That means
Oh, so that's what only child means.
yes, only child means I'm the only one
Of all the children, you're the only one.
Yeah, there was only
So there's
one
no
child.
others children's.
No, not in that family.
I mean, there's other children in the world.
In the world, yeah,
But
I don't
you're
care
the
about
only
them.
one.
So I'm the only one here.
I think I knew you were an only child. I didn't realize it.
You don't put it together because, like, I think there's I watched the way that my
you're not, like-
mom acted about
Yeah.
being the youngest, and I was like, that's not.
I can't do
I
that.
can't do that. Like, that's not me. So I don't really identify as much with the only child syndrome.
Yeah.
But it's really
just
interesting.
funny. Like,
It's really interesting to hear those things, and I almost wonder if there's like some bit of it that's generational, because like I'm hearing
Yeah.
1952,
Right.
1952.
oh, it's the baby boomers.
It's the baby
There's
boomers,
a baby.
like-
I think it's more so the baby boomer thing than it is only child.
Yeah.
But the only child just escalates.
Yeah, it
or
exasperates
it
it.
exasperates.
Yeah, absolutely.
The baby boomerness of him. But like he's I'm like him in a lot of ways where like I'm very entrepreneurial. So like I'll have an idea like this and I'll just do it and get it done.
Yeah.
Like the guy's written like children's books. He has gotten restaurants he went to Barrington High School in Illinois, and so he's gotten local restaurants to name burgers after the Barrington High School football team. Like,
Wow.
he does things and gets things done, and like, so I have that part of it. So he'll do that, like he'll kind of like hyper focus on things, which I feel like I do. I have a lot of that in me where I find something, I obsess about it, and I do it, and I move on to the next thing. Now I'm a little bit more disciplined in the fact that like I used to just like start projects and then not finish them and then move on to the next one, where now it's like, okay, I start something and I work it until either it's successful or it's time to let it go and move on. But yeah, it's just funny. Like what gets me, and I think where I'm trying to figure out how to bring the family aspect into a comedy set is you have these characters. Like my dad is, there's the real version of him and all that, which is complex and blah, 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 blah. But then there's the version that you want to bring out on stage, which isn't usually the full picture of who the person is.
Right.
Unless you're doing a narrative and you can show all those sides. But for the sake of a stand-up set, if I'm going to talk about a specific thing of my dad, I want to pull out like the intricacies or the goofy things, like I just said. Like,
Yeah.
to me, the best thing for you, that whole scenario is funny. I don't quite have the setup punchline, but like there's something about like, because we all do that. We all get information, whether it's from the news or whether it's from Facebook, and we take it as truth. And then we live our life according to that. And then the next day we see something that's completely contradictory, and we completely abandon everything. Right? Like,
Yes,
what is that about us? Where we're like, we're just so like, I feel like there's a Bible verse about this where you're like, you're swaying in the wind or something,
Sure,
or you toss to and fro, like, but it's like
chafe.
yeah,
Through the wind.
whatever the heck chafe is.
Yeah.
I know chafe, like if I work out too hard and
Hey now.
but my gosh, like, so that's funny to me is and that's so I think like for a joke to be funny, like you have to have something that everyone can relate to.
Yeah.
Not everybody is going to relate to the specifics of how my dad is unless they had a dad exactly like that. But what they can relate to is the extremes that we go to.
Yeah.
So like for you, like what's an example, like something for you where you're like, and then, it's just immediately like, you're 100% all in, and then you completely abandon it the next day.
So I'm kind of I look for the most simple way to break things down. How does that look? That looks like if I go to a doctor and the doctor's like, this is an issue that you've got to take care of. It's like that becomes my singular focus.
Okay.
And nothing else matters. And
Like if you had a goiter.
yeah, or something that I knew what it was. which I don't know what a goiter is.
I don't know what it is. Some sort of lump.
Sounds disgusting.
If you know what a goiter is, please
drop it in the comments. Let us know what a goiter is.
Sounds like boulder.
Please don't include pictures because it sounds disgusting.
Please do not. Can we block pictures? We're going
probably
to. We're going to.
We probably should.
Yeah.
No, but let's say it was you've got to bring your cholesterol down, and so then it's like,
do I have to?
Let's do this, and this, and like make sure that it gets down. But like all of a sudden, like you start cramping in your legs because you've removed all salt from your diet, like an idiot. And then you're like, I can't walk around because I'm just cramped up because my body needs salt.
You brought it down, but you like got rid of it basically.
You got rid of it.
Zero cholesterol. It's all gone.
Yes, but now you can't walk.
Right.
So good luck with that.
So you go to extremes.
So I can tend to go to some of those extremes. So I totally relate with that. Maybe I don't get that information from the news, but I try to deduct all of it down to the most simple form. And I feel like that's at the basis of almost everybody now. Like we see all over social media and all over the news and other places, like we'll talk about like life hacks, right? And just trying to figure out how can we hack life? How can we get by doing the very least? And it extends my life. Orange juice is great. Like that's gonna beat cancer. That's what gets rid of cancer.
Then you have a bunch of orange juice.
And you drink all this orange juice, and then you die of vitamin C.
No, your pee is like orange.
Oh, yeah. Then your pee is orange, and
you're like, and then there like an orange tree grows in your toilet, and you're like, what the crap?
Yeah.
I peed out an orange tree. Right. Yeah, dude, like family stuff. My dad's a character. My grandma's a character. My Jewish grandma's a character for sure. My English grandma. Funny thing, one of the funniest stories I remembered about her is she used to live with us. And so Madison, we were dating, sent me a big tub of cookies, homemade cookies, that the recipe was from one of her ladies that she knew from church. They were like the best cookies in the world. A tub all to myself of chocolate chip cookies. Somebody ate them, and it wasn't me. I know it wasn't my grandma. And I just remember my grandma in the kitchen. My dad was giving her a hard time, like jokingly, and I was filming it. I think we were both giving her a hard time. We're like, Grandma, did you eat my cookies? And she was like, I swear, Matt, I didn't. Matt, I didn't, I swear. Grandma, did you eat my cookies? No, Matt. Grandma, did you break wind? Matt, I didn't. Oh my gosh.
I have a hard time picturing her calling you Matt and not Matthew.
Matthew. It was probably Matthew.
I feel like an English grandmother would call you
She once
Matthew.
told my dad when we were like, they were like...
Bartholomew.
And they were driving to our wedding or something. She told my dad, she was in the car and she was like, I don't feel good, Mark. Mark, I don't feel good. Oh, what's wrong, Mom? I'd feel much better if I had a cheeseburger. She just wanted a cheeseburger and she faked some sort of sickness. I'd feel much better if I had a cheeseburger. Manipulative. So
she lived with you guys for a while.
Yeah, she did. She was the one, I think, where my comedy stuff comes from. Because back in the day when my dad was younger, he would always tell stories about how she used to be like the one pulling faces at my grandpa. And my grandpa was all serious, He was in the war, so I guess, okay. I guess you get to be serious. But
sure,
she'd be pulling faces at him while he wasn't looking and like, making fun of him and stuff. And so I'm like, I'd like to think that my comedic stuff came from my English grandma.
But your best stories come from your Jewish grandmother.
Yeah, there's a lot of characters there, and I think part of what I'm trying to figure out is how to bring them in as characters. But you know what? More to come with all this.
Was there ever a time that they were all in the same place at the same time?
Yeah.
That's where it has
Christmas,
to come.
man. And see, I want to do jokes about Christmas because I love Christmas. Do you know I used to think Tim Allen was my dad?
You've told me this.
Yeah, I used to think Tim Allen was my dad.
And it turns out that your dad is actually...
Mark Summerfield.
I was thinking Nicolas Cage.
People tell me I look like I've gotten John Cusack. It's never anybody that's like relatively
taller
attractive.
than you.
I don't know. People say I look like Steve Odenkirk. No, sorry, Bob Odenkirk from Breaking Bad.
Mm-hmm.
But
I could see that.
But he's balding. I think I look like Ralph Fiennes a little bit.
Huh.
My grandpa looks almost exactly like Ralph Fiennes.
Okay.
That's probably why.
That's probably why I see it.
But I'd like to think I look like maybe a Ryan Gosling or like a Ryan Reynolds or really any of the Ryans.
Yeah.
Ryan Pitt.
I don't know who Ryan Pitt is.
It's the lesser known brother of Brad Pitt. He's actually a car mechanic. Hey Ryan, you done with my muffler? You need to work on that. You need to finish that up for me? You're done with it? Oh, you're not done with it? Oh, you broke it. The muffler's still broken. Okay, Ryan, well, look, you said you were the best, and I believed you, but now I'm starting to think that you're not. If you could fix my muffler, that would be... I will talk to Brad right now. Don't let me... I will bring Brad into this conversation about my muffler. You promised me a muffler fix? Right now, I'm not seeing it.
I don't know why that's funny. I don't think it would be funny normally.
Ryan Pitt fixing my muffler. Who I think is... He told me he was going to
I think the best part of the whole is so dumb. But I think the best part is that you're friends with Brad Pitt and you have his brother working on your car.
His brother Ryan is a car mechanic.
And you look like Ryan, but you're talking to Ryan as if you're talking to Ryan, but you said you look like Ryan.
I do look like Ryan Pitt.
Is he a real person?
No. I don't think Brad has any siblings, as far as I know.
He's an old child.
Bringing it full circle.
Which means no sibling.
That's true. I never thought about it that way. Next time on Whiskey Bits. What are we drinking today, Phil?
I thought that today would be a good day for you to try the Blandons.
I don't have my shirt on.
That's okay. You're wearing a flannel.
That's true.
That'll work.
That'll work.
Yep,
Because there's a horse on the top.
Because there's a horse. Because there's a horse on the top.
And people that ride horses, I was going to say drive horses. People that drive horses wear flannel.
Well, people who ride horses drive cattle.
That's true. Learn something new every day. Hey, thanks for tuning in to Whiskey Bits. Please like, share, and subscribe wherever you watch or listen to podcasts.